Okay, so we'll take questions in Spanish at the end. Just see a show of hands for the mics, please.
Pep, just how excited are you by the levels, the standards that the side is setting at the moment?
Well, good morning. It's better to be in that position, but it's just in September. It's a long time, long games to play, still to play.
Well, how do you strike that balance? Because obviously there's a lot of hype surrounding the side with the attacking football that they're playing, the goals that they are scoring as well. How, as a manager, do you strike that balance between keeping the feet on the floor and not getting carried away with it?
No, it's easy. So the players know it in September. So the last years, always Manchester City start good, and after we were not able to achieve our results. So it's just in September. So game by game and focusing on competition now, and game by game.
Can I just check on Kevin De Bruyne? There's been talk that he could be offered a new extended contract, improved terms. What is the situation there, and is he the kind of player that you love having around the place?
No, I think so, yeah. I think I said my previous last conference, so the transfer window closed in 1st of September, but we're still working on it, and of course we want like a club, we want Kevin and the other one to stay as long as possible, as much as possible.
Hello, Pep. May I ask you about the atmosphere at the moment? I appreciate that intensity is still there, that has been there since you've arrived at the club. I'm sure you want the focus to continue, but there's a lot of smiles on a lot of your players' faces now at the moment. It seems to be really enjoyable to play for Manchester City.
We win.
But you were winning at this time last year, but it feels like, is there nothing different for you think?
The smiles were in our faces last season in that period too. So we win. And we win every season, and all we are looking at and observing and saying, oh, that's good, is because we are winning. So we have to do is keep going in that, but that is the secret. So we are professionals, and all the players are here to win games, and when they win, their private lives, our life like a professionals are better. So happen here and how all the teams around the world, no matter the division are you playing. So that is the reason why.
And I know you don't want to get carried away, because obviously the amount that you won at the same time last year, but you know what a winning and a special team is. Can you see the start of something particularly special now?
Believe me, what my feeling is, a lot of times we play in that way last season, but in the boxes we were not good. So that game would happen in the last season. For example, they had two chances, one of lots of cheek and one cross over out. Last season was goal, and that season no. And the last minute, in the first half, we scored a goal. Last season didn't happen once. So I think we are more comfortable now in the terms of when we arrive there, we are feeling, oh, maybe we are going to score a goal. And when they arrive, we defend better. So, but the average, how many chances we create or how many chances we concede, I don't know the statistics, but it's quite similar, I think so, on the last season. And the difference is, of course, when you win again. But like I said before, so the stability of one team, when you believe, okay, it's stable, the day after is going down. So you have to be carefully and work in our habits and our fundamentals, and always we can do better. And tomorrow is another test to show that.
Pep, is it possible to compare how this squad is adapting to you and you to them with what happened at Bayern Munich and what happened at Barcelona, and how long it's taking to evolve?
Bob, it's too early to say that many things, because we have players here that I didn't have in the past, and I don't have players I had in the past. So it's difficult to me to compare, because at least in there, when I were there, it's easy to defend our ideas, because we won a lot of titles. Here we didn't win absolutely anything. So, and we'll be judged for that. So the brilliance, the style, and all these kind of things, only I can talk about that, it's me. Because I defend 100% what I'm talking about. You are demanding titles, not the way we played. So that is I have to try to win the titles, and for that you have to win games.
Pep, how was Benjamin Mendy came off on Saturday?
We're going to make proofs test if he's able to play.
In terms of the fullbacks, Benjamin, Kyle and Danilo, they got 4 assists between them. Can you just talk about how they offer something at fullback that maybe you didn't have last year in terms of attacking?
I don't like, believe me, I don't like to say how often not, because I am denying how good they were, my fullbacks last season. So when I'm saying, oh, Mendy has that and the other one, I'm talking about in the subtitles, I am saying that my previous fullbacks were not good enough, and that is not true. They did really well. They did really well, but we decided to change, especially for the age. That is only Pablo thought, so that is my last period, but Kola decided to move on to Rome again, and Gael and Bakari, they were 32, 33 years old, and we thought we need energy, we thought young fullbacks. That was the reason why. But I don't like to compare because every player is completely different, and they had quality. For example, they don't have the guys who we have now, no? But the guys who had the quality to go up and down with that energy, so that's why we make it. His effort, our club make this effort to take them.
Pep, it was this game last year against Celtic where your winning run came to an end. Does that serve as a bit of a warning for you for this time around? It's the 7th time I play against Shakhtar Donetsk in my career. Once final Super Cup and 3 times in the Champions League. And every time I play before them, I have the same feeling, the same feeling. So I remember the first time we faced in the group stage against them, my team were to see them and come back and say, wow. So I'm really impressed against the team I saw right now. Fernandinho playing that moment, Douglas Costa, a lot of Brazilian and Ukrainian good players. And in Barcelona, all the time it was the same. So Shakhtar Donetsk, the problem is Ukraine team. Who cares? Which players play in that team? Nobody knows them. And I can assure you that it's one of the best teams in terms of playing football. They play with 5 or 6 Brazilian guys, all of them, with Tyson, Marlon, with Bertrand, with Eder. So they are good players. And always they have a good team. Always was so tough for me, for our Barcelona team, Bayern team beat them. We have a good result, but always so tough. The final we won extra times, and I have a lot of respect. And just they beat one of the best teams playing football right now, like Napoli. Napoli is one of the 3 or 4 or 5 better teams playing football and results because they are leading in the Italian league, and they were able to beat them. So our group stage have a tricky. The people said, okay, Napoli, it's not Juventus, not Milan, not Inter, Shakhtar Donetsk, Ukraine. They have tricky. That group is tricky. And of course, it depends on our hands. If we're able to save it at home, especially in our next 2 games, will be a big gap to go to achieve 80 finals in February. But the players today are going to see how good they are. And hopefully I can convince them to take seriously. Of course, Champions League is serious. You play 30 minutes, we play in the first half against Crystal Palace. Will be so complicated. We are out in the Champions League against Monaco because in 180 minutes we play 45 minutes bet and we are out. So in that level you cannot concede a lot of minutes not playing good, not be serious, because Shakhtar Donetsk, from my experience against them, deserve all my credit.
Pep, I know you've been asked a lot about Sergio, but with him being a goal away from the equaling the club's record, do you feel, not just in terms of goal scoring, but his all-round play, he's a more rounded and complete player now than the one you inherited, say 12, 14 months ago? Do you feel there's more, you've helped bring out more?
It's a question only can ask him. Only can answer Sergio. So will be arrogant, presumptuous, and disrespectful for my other colleagues. So I'm thinking I made better Sergio than the other ones. So I never said that one word in my all colleagues or my players, all players. So only I can say that as soon as possible can achieve that record. Like this, we cannot talk about that. So I'm pretty sure in the next games it's going to happen. So last game again, I scored a goal. I had 2 or 3 chances more. So that is the sense of the striker that we have. And of course help a lot that now Rush, for example, again 2 more goals. I was there. We are able to score more goals, more people.
and the other opponents can be more focused on the other guys, not just with Sergio, and he's more free in that position to score more goals. But of course, I said last year, and I said every time, Sergio's no doubt one of the best strikers in the world.
I just rephrasing the question then. I just wonder whether, from your perspective, you feel he's more at the place you want him to be in terms of what you want from your team and how.
I think the quality that he had in the past is exactly the same. Maybe now we play more with him. So our when we play, we're looking at more, not just in the finishing part, in the score a goal. So in the process, before Sergio has just scored a goal, say before last season with me, so just to score a goal there. Now, when in the process, when John or Nico, Vincent or Dino, Yaya has the ball, always we know he's there, and that helps to be more involved. So it's difficult to say, come on, Sergio, try to be more involved in our game. We didn't pass one ball, so it's difficult. I think that's my feeling now. Everybody knows he's there, and we're going to try in the quality to set the ball, the quality to dribbling a one. For example, like the last goal he scored in Crystal Palace, or the action he made here, the dribbling one or two or three guys. That is new one, so we needed that. So when he arrived, had the ability to take a risk to dribbling one and two, because his first meters, his first steps, wow, is so quick, and he's so powerful in the legs, and we need not just to score a goal in the first post in one touch, make this into actions. And I'm so happy and so glad he's doing that. So happy.
Hi, Pep. Is there a chance Vincent Kompany could return tomorrow, and how is İlkay Gundogan?
İlkay yesterday training, part of the training. No part of training. He was floater, so just play with the ball. And Vincent is still not ready for tomorrow.
He's not ready?
No.
Sam?
Hi, Pep. Kevin De Bruyne said over the weekend that he's one of 5 players on the Players' Council with Fernandinho, Silva, Kompany and Aguero. What does that actually involve for them to do, and how important is it for you to have 5 guys like that in the squad that you can presumably give instructions?
The most important thing, he likes to be part of that, and there are players and there are a process. So you are a teenager, girlfriend, marriage, kids, so that is the same. So you arrive and you won, but when you win something or you deserve something, credit what you have done on the pitch and off the pitch, you have to make the next step. Because the new players are coming, like Kyle, the other one, have to be helped for the guys who was a long time ago. And Kevin needs that. Yeah, it's a part to say, okay, I have to make a step forward, not just playing good, the mentality to help the other ones and to winning games. And I'm so happy that he's there.
So what do you ask of these 5 players? What do you want from them?
Well, the role for the captains. So, think in the club, think in teammates, in the bad moments, make a step forward. All the rules, not written rules, the captains must to do, have to tell, have to say, they have to do that.
So it's like in Europe when like Real Madrid and Barca have 3 or 4 captains there?
Yeah.
Hello, Pep. Obviously, Mendy seems to be okay, but if you do lose one of your full-backs with a serious injury, could it give you a problem long term?
We're going to find a solution.
Have you got solutions in mind then?
Yeah.
Can you tell us any of them?
No. It's funnier when you go to the stadium and see that on the pitch. That is just words. So, but of course, you have to prepare. It's some problems that happen. Find a solution.
Well, obviously Fabian Delph is one of them. Do you see him as a left back from now on?
Yeah. No, he's a midfield player, but of course he can play in that position. When one person is nice, one person is thinking what can do for the team, always you can play wherever you want. When one guy just thinking yourself, so sometimes it's more complicated. And Fabi is a person. The only I am concerned is to keep him fit, to avoid injuries. But Fabi can help us a lot. So last season I played regularly, but most of the time he was injured, and at times my decision. But when he played, I remember in Stamford Bridge last season, or against Hull City here. All the minutes he played last season, last games, always playing high level, always.
Pep, may I ask you? It's here.
Yeah.
Sorry. May I ask your thoughts about Gabriel Jesus' behavior in this Champions League environment? It's his first one, and it seems that his debut against Feyenoord, it was like another game for him in a positive way, no extra pressure. What are your thoughts about it?
Gabriel is always had an option, and he had the last game too, didn't play but had an option. Everybody had an option to play. Now I have 5 strikers which I trust a lot of them, and there's no doubt about his capacity, ability, his impact when he arrived to get in here. So in all terms, on off the pitch. So I'm delighted with him. Of course, tomorrow is a guy who helped us a lot in the terms to help Sergio to score goals, in our pressing and dynamic, in fighting, and a lot of things that maybe we didn't have with him. We have, and it's so important because the quality to score goals, he has that, and the most important thing is the age. So he's so young. So he's just 21 or 22 years. Striker number 9 from Brazil. So, and how you see him, how he train every single day and he fight every game. So has desire to become a real good player in the world football, and that is so important for us.
Question in Spanish, please.
Sobre el Shakhtar, per quin motiu creus que us ha costat tant en la teva trajectòria com a entrenador, doncs, guanyar-los, jugar contra ells, com el dia de la Supercopa quan estaves amb el Barça? Per quin motius creus que...
Perquè són molt bons, perquè amb el Lucescu feia molt bé, ho segueixen fent ara, igual no fan marcatges tan individuals com el Lucescu i ho fan més sonal, però tenen laterals profuns, amb molta qualitat, i tenen molts jugadors per dintre. Posen 5 o 6 jugadors tots molt junts, s'associen, fan passes molt curts i quan contacten a dintre t'ataquen per fora i són molt físicament forts, per això juguen tan bé.
I què creus que els hi pot faltar per fer aquest pas endavant i estar, jo què sé, als quarts de finals o una etapa, doncs...
A vuitens de final hi ha arribat moltes vegades. Pas quan arriben a quarts de final és una etapa on ells estan de vacances. La Lliga s'ha parat i perden aquell tempo que és tan necessari en el futbol, però la qualitat està allà.
I want to ask you about Shakhtar. What do you think is the reason why it was so difficult for you, your teams in your career, to beat them? Well, because obviously they are very good. When they play with Lucescu, they were playing really good. Now they play really good as well. With Lucescu, they were defending, marking individual. Now they mark more in zone. They have deep fullbacks. They play with a lot of players inside. They associate short passes. They play with players outside. They are physical, very good team. So that's the reason why. And the second question: what do you think they need to go further in this competition in Champions League? Well, they've been in the round of 16 many times, but when they reach quarterfinals, it's difficult for them because their league is stopped. They are on holiday, so they lose the pace of the game, and that's very necessary in this football. But the quality is always there.
Just here, please, at front. Stu, can you just pass that mic?
Hola, Pep. Sané es un jugador muy habilidoso y muy rápido, como muy diferenciado del clásico alemán. ¿Ves en él una influencia futbolística de otras culturas, como la sudamericana, por ejemplo, un estilo parecido?
No. Es muy parecida a la alemana. Tiene la capacidad de correr 30 a 40 metros al espacio, como muy típico alemán. El alemán tiene una gran virtud que todo lo lineal, históricamente lo ha hecho muy bien. Son capacidad de correr muchas veces 30 a 40 metros. Y este chico tiene la capacidad de ir al espacio, correr muy bien. Evidentemente tiene la habilidad de jugador, pero es un jugador más del espacio de al pie. Tiene capacidad para mejorar en lo pequeño, en lo corto, en el espacio corto. El sudamericano es bueno en lo corto y él aún tiene espacio para mejorar en ello.
I want to ask you about Leroy Sané. He seems to have a different profile of the typical German player. Do you think he has influence from other cultures or South American football, for example? I don't think so. I think he fits the German profile, very similar type of player, the kind of player that can run for 30, 40 meters. German players that have the skill, they are able to run 30, 40 meters very often, and he has this skill to play behind the lines, and he is skilled to play in shorter spaces. He has a little room for improvement in the shorter space, but he's a very typical, for me, typical German player.
Okay, cheers guys. One more. Sorry, Pep, one more.
Hola, buena tarde. Siempre, en la temporada pasada decías que teníais que mejorar en las áreas, sobre todo. Lleváis 20 goles en 4 partidos, ninguno encajado. ¿Qué tenéis que mejorar? Si es que se puede mejorar algo este año, porque en las áreas habéis mejorado.
Pues claro que se puede mejorar. El día del West Bromwich Albion, la segunda parte nos pasaron por encima. La primera media hora del partido nuestro contra el Crystal Palace no fue buena. Fútbol siempre se puede mejorar. Los periodistas también.
Y hablando de mejorar, supongo que el hecho de que Pablo Maffeo juegue en el Girona es para que tenga partidos como el que tuvo el otro día contra Messi.
El problema, lo único pequeño problema que veo en la liga inglesa, en el fútbol inglés, es que los segundos equipos no compiten cada semana de verdad. Entonces los jugadores que entendemos que no pueden estar en el primer equipo, poder foguearse en otras ligas, como tenemos en Holanda muchos jugadores, en España, en partidos como encontrarte con Messi o encontrarte con los grandes jugadores, esto es la mejor manera para avanzar. Los jugadores jóvenes tienen que jugar, y cuanto antes jueguen en alto nivel en escenarios contra grandes jugadores, pues su crecimiento es mucho más rápido, y ahí se ve si tiene nivel o no tiene nivel.
First of all, do you think there's room for improvement in your team? Well, there's always room for improvement. For example, second half against West Bromwich Albion, they were better than us, and the first 30 minutes against Crystal Palace the other day wasn't good, so obviously there's always room for improvement. And the second question, I want to ask you about Pablo Maffeo, the fact that he played the other day with Girona against FC Barcelona. Do you like that he has these opportunities in those kinds of games? I've always said that Premier League second teams don't compete very well in that level. They need this kind of competition. If they can't play in the first team, they need to go to other leagues like Netherlands, Spain, and be in those big games, face players like Leo Messi, and that's the best way to improve. Young players like Pablo Maffeo and others must play, and the sooner they reach this competition, this level of competition, the better for them to do a step forward and become better players.
Okay, cheers guys.
Right.